our main concern was timeline, our budget, and COV was one of our main concerns as well, because we've heard like the rumors that COVs are all going to cost like a bomb.
I mean, especially for first-time homeowners. I've only lived in one house in the past 20 years of my life. Hi, my name is Ali, this is my partner Lina, and we recently bought a 4-room resale flat in the estate of Sembawang.
Our main concern was timeline, our budget, and we just didn't want to stay for our parents lah. So when we met Firdaus, that was what we wanted clarity on lah, like how long the entire process would take. And since COV was one of our main concerns as well, because we've heard like the rumors that COVs are all going to cost like a bomb, and especially in this like COVID situation, right? We didn't know, so we wanted to be prepared. So that was the first few things that we clarified on.
During the first meetup, it's actually whatever Lina just mentioned, right, was covered all immediately in the first meetup. Basically, the whole concern about the current state of the market and the high COVs, how the breakdown for the various, miscellaneous fees would be, like how your CPF would affect the HDB loans, especially during this, circuit breaker period last year. Unfortunately, I lost my job, so that was one of the factors we were concerned about on how it would affect our HDB, loan application. Yeah, so all these were actually covered very easily in the first meetup, which was actually quite enlightening. Unfortunately, when I lost my job, I was also blessed that I managed to find one immediately within the next 1 or 2 months, so I didn't see much gap in my CPF contributions.
I think we only paid about like 2?
Yeah.
One more and this one.
Correct. Only 2 units. One was just down the street from the other unit. We were lucky that we came across a unit that we favoured and were quite happy with just after the second viewing. Because initially we went into this whole process with the idea that we can find something that's a unit that's bare, that requires less tear down of built-in furnitures and whatnot, so that we can just do a overhaul of the whole place. So that second unit was basically that. So it was an instant eye-catcher for us. Within the next day after we saw the unit, then we were quite happy with the unit, so we just went ahead with it.
Good unit, good price. That's why you have to log in fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
The expected COV was about 20,000-ish on average in that estate. The first one we went, they were expecting above 10. Above 10, and also the asking price was quite high.
Correct.
So we were quite blessed with this one, that the COV was managed to be brought down to 0. The reason why we were looking for a unit that was quite bare is because we were already going to spend quite an amount for the overhaul renovations, right? So we wanted to focus more of the funds more on the renovation aspect rather than upfront on the COV aspect, especially with the current market with high COVs. So what we eventually managed to do is on this house, we managed to get it with 0 COV, which was a great help to us, and also that helped us eventually focus the funds more on the renovation aspect. I reached out to you earlier in March or April, but it was a bit too early. Then we contacted you again in late May, and then we started the whole process in early June. So that's about 3 months-ish, and from start to finish. So it was actually quite fast. We were expecting like 3 to 6 months, 4 to 6 months, but it was actually much faster than that. Because the house was already empty, right? So we thought, since there's nobody staying there, and all this time would go by wasted, so we thought we could get the keys earlier, alright? So we can start renovation earlier, which thankfully our sellers were quite collaborative about that. So we managed to get the keys early and get the whole renovation and ID process started much earlier than usually we would be able to. The process was actually quite smooth sailing for us. The only thing that was a delay was the whole COVID factor of it, but that was something that nobody could have foreseen or expected. So all in all, it was actually quite a smooth process. I thought it would be a bit more, not troublesome, a bit more complex than what it is. But then yeah, it was actually quite smooth. Also, thankfully, because you helped us with all the paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, I think it was quite helpful. I would have seen a lot of problems on our end if you were not here to assist us. It was quite assuring to know that you had everything controlled lah, and in control. For you, Lina, any feedback?
It was quick and efficient. Initially, when we started this day, we kind of debated on doing the paperwork ourselves, and then we like, okay, we do not trust ourselves to follow the deadlines. Then like, we might as well like find somebody like more capable.
Initially, I think I was the one that shared the idea with her to DIY it, because one of my friends did the same thing also with his wife. And it seemed pretty easy, but then apparently, eventually as we went on, I found out that the wife has some prior knowledge about all this. So the difficulty level just went up, the more I found out. And then I also, you were recommended by one of our friends who were your former clients as well. So it was at the right time and the right place. So that's why we decided to go with hiring an agent instead. So it was quite helpful.
So did it save a lot of headache, hassle?
Oh yes, yes, a lot of headache. Yes. I think you should definitely engage Firdaus. The only thing I would ask you to take in mind would be to do some prior research before entering the market because of the current situation. I guess if you're a seller, it would be your advantage because of the high COVs and whatnot. If you're a buyer, you might need to do a bit of research to know when would be a good time to jump in. Of course, all these advices will be given to you by Firdaus anyway. But yeah, that will be something to take note of. Yes, definitely, Lina. I don't know.
Yes,
huh?
of course.
Yeah, definitely. It's you've been actually quite helpful on this whole journey, and we were actually quite lucky that one of my oldest friends were the ones that recommended you. So we didn't have to do the whole shebang of going and looking for different agents and whatnot. Yeah, so definitely please reach out to Firdaus. One thing we found quite helpful were your info ads on Instagram on what things to look out for, like the different terms and
what's the difference between COV
and so especially for first time homeowners. I've only lived in one house in the past 20 years of my life, so I have no idea what all these were at the start. So actually going through your videos were quite helpful to increase my HDB vocabulary. Yeah, so those were quite helpful. Stalk his Instagram, I would say.